Leyland.
There are games that are so broken they become unplayable, and there are games that are full of flaws but still charming. In this video, we're going to look at those buggy games. These bugs and glitches are now part of the charm and perhaps even the main reason for us to play the game. Let's go and take a look at 10 games that were so broken, yet so much fun to play.
Time to end this.
Skyrim launched on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC, and is pretty much available on almost every gaming system nowadays. However, the game does not come without its flaws. Even the remastered version on the latest consoles is still full of bugs. And quite frankly, that doesn't matter. The bugs and glitches in Skyrim are part of its charm. The huge open world and gazillion things to do make for an outstanding virtual playground. The moment a horse starts twisting or a giant chicken appears because of a scripting error only adds to the charm. Skyrim is buggy, but awesome nonetheless.
Pardon me, Dr. Pensky?
Just the person I wanted to see. I wanted to thank you for what...
Austin's just a child.
No arguments there. It was a selfless act, something we don't see much of from the Commonwealth.
And with Fallout 4, we're talking about another one of Bethesda's gems. We could have mentioned Fallout 3 or New Vegas as well because they are all full of bugs. But it's Fallout 4 that's on this list. Like any of the open world role-playing games from Bethesda, this one was full of bugs when it launched. Even after many patches, you can still expect lots of hilarious glitches.
Looking for a job?
Let's hear about...
We have one home available. It's in the center of town, right? You can do whatever you like with the interior, and all the tools you need to make your own furnishings are provided at no extra charge.
The Skate series is beloved among gamers, and thanks to YouTubers, there has been an increased demand for copies of the skateboarding game. Building tracks and doing crazy stunts has been a source for funny videos. Gamers abuse the game's systems for laughs as characters and their skateboard fly across the map. Add the over-the-top ragdoll effects to this and you're bound to make people smile. Nobody is playing Skate 3 the way it was meant to be played. Abusing the bugs and glitches results in a game that's far more funny than the developers ever intended it to be. The story of Goat Simulator is a funny one, because this game started out as a silly idea, but it got so much attention from gamers online that its creators embraced it. Goat Simulator has no true purpose, and its ridiculous ragdoll and object physics are super glitchy. But in the end, that's all part of the fun. Goat Simulator is all about having a world full of bugs and letting players have their way with it. Is this the best game in this list? Nah. But it is the one game that was intended to be a buggy mess and actually presented these bugs as gameplay features.
There's a planet out there where they rule the ecosystem.
Earth Defense Force is one of those series that's not intended to be a AAA experience. No matter which game in the series you check out, you will always run into the same type of bugs. Think about weird AI, repeated voice lines, enemies clipping into buildings, and so on. Despite all these bugs and glitches, the series has always been one of our guilty pleasures. It's just fun to kill those giant insects and monsters with rockets. And if they glitch a bit here and there, it doesn't really matter. release of Assassin's Creed Unity is often considered a terrible mess, and it was. Your characters would fall through floors and entire textures would not be loaded, resulting in some horrific close-up conversations. Even though Ubisoft tried to patch the game, it's still very rough around the edges. But if you look at Assassin's Creed Unity as a game, it's still a very fun one to play. Gameplay and story are both fine, but technical execution left a lot to be desired. If you are able to lower your expectations and see Assassin's Creed Unity as just a game to mess around in, you'll be surprised at how much fun it can be. The inclusion of The Forest is perhaps not very fair because it's a huge game made by a very small team. But the game has been in early access for quite some time and is now available as a full release. Yet this survival game is still full of bugs and glitches. Think about stuff like clipping, weird behavior from computer-controlled cannibals, and of course the mandatory inconsistencies with the physics engine. The Forest is an amazing game and it's a lot of fun to play. The bugs only add another layer of fun to this game. When you play Stalker, you get a game that's unlike anything else. It's a mix between Fallout and Dark Souls. This is a survival shooter role-playing game, and it aged pretty well. But Stalker isn't a flawless gem. It's more like a diamond in the rough. Sometimes enemies will detect you through walls, and for some reason their aim can be a lot better than yours. This can make Stalker frustrating to some, but it really is the Dark Souls of shooters. Just don't expect your radioactive adventures to be bug-free and without funny fails. When Techland made their first entry in the Dead Island series, we were hyped. The game looked amazing and put a completely different take on the open-world zombie genre. But Dead Island didn't come without bugs and glitches. This game was full of it. But that didn't stop us from having fun. Let's just say that a game with such a strong focus on melee combat should not have such major issues with clipping and hitbox detection. But it was all still fun because you were whacking zombies. Or at least you tried to. Sometimes missions wouldn't load and you needed to replay a part of the game. Its remastered bigger brother has a lot less bugs, but still feels a bit unpolished at times.
Ow! What the hell are you... Ah! What the hell are you doing? Knocking people out by hitting them on the head? That's movie stuff.
That's why I have one of your shock traps just in case.
We love Alpha Protocol despite its many flaws. This action role-playing game did a lot of things wrong, but a lot of things were also amazing in this game. This James Bond RPG has many interesting gameplay features, but they are all a bit flawed. That's where the charm comes in. It's the bad acting, the clunky gameplay, and the weak physics that make it such a cult title. Yes, you'll be hit by bullets flying through walls. Yes, sometimes you'll die under suspicious circumstances, but in the end, you get to play a game that has acquired cult status among gamers worldwide.
I may be on the run, but I'm a lot better off than you, some monkey in a suit who can't even talk and click his pen at the same time.
Did you play any of these games and did you enjoy the bugs you encountered? Or did you ever play other games that were so broken you had fun messing with them? Please let us know. You can find Zoom In Games on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard score there, but after what you've been through, I'd say that's great news. Well, we know your vitals are good.